Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Bundesliga Fantasy Football Show, brought to you by Over the Bar in partnership with Bulinews. Checking in this morning with my awesome colleague and partner for the show, Rune. Rune, how are you doing this morning?
Very good, thanks. Looking forward to an interesting weekend where I think could benefit from picking a few differentials, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, very true. It's going to be a big weekend of fantasy football, obviously with 4 match weeks left. Fantasy football-wise, there's maybe a chance for people to start going a little bit more rogue with their picks, and yeah, we'll try and guide you through that as much as we possibly can do. Just quickly checking in, Jay, aka FPL Gunnosaurus, just saying that submitted a few questions on X 20 minutes ago, so I'll make sure that I read those and ask them throughout the show. If you want to ask questions, of course, please do in the live chat. Use that function on YouTube, and then you can make sure that you get your answers to your queries at some point during the show. Make sure you do leave a thumbs up as well, if you can do, and subscribe to the channel. Just basically engage as much as possible. It really helps with these sort of videos to push them up into the stratosphere of YouTube. And yeah, make sure you try and watch for as long as you possibly can do when you do tune in. So that would be fantastic. As I've already mentioned, make sure you check out Bulinews, as you can find them on X or Twitter at bulinews.com. Just a few FYIs for shows. Obviously, I know myself and Mark were doing the prediction show last night, so by all means do check that out, because there's some big games this weekend and we were predicting what's going to happen from top 4 race all the way down to relegation, as Rune mentioned. Mark mentioned the fact that one of his and Peter's vlogs were coming out last night, and a tweet did go out. However, we did make a slight mistake in the fact that it's actually coming out this evening, not last evening. So if you're slightly confused, that would be why. So the vlog for Fortuna Düsseldorf and Greuther Fürth will be out this evening. It's set for 7 p.m, but a tweet will go out with further information and a link. So do make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out the Zweite Bundesliga bonus pod or recording that we did with Matthew from the 2 Bundesliga pods. We talked all things from title race to how the relegation race might pan out, best players, etc. It was really good fun talking to Matt. So also make sure you check that out. That's only on YouTube. So yeah, make sure you go to the channel and you will not miss out on all this extra fantastic content that's coming your way. Right, without further delay, we'll get right into it, and we'll start with defenders, as we always do. So Rune, I'll hand over to you at this stage to walk us through your picks.
Yeah, thanks. My budget pick is Anthony Kasi from Mainz. I've been very impressed with Mainz since my fellow Dane Bo Henriksen took over. Just as I expected, he provided the boost that Mainz needed, and a sort of self-belief. And I think they've looked really impressive lately, and can't exactly say the same about FC Köln, who they will be facing at home. I don't think a lot suggests that Köln will get a result there. Looks like a game that Mainz will win pretty clearly. And I think Kasi has benefited a lot from Mainz switch from Siva to Henriksen. He secured a starting berth at right wing back ahead of Bidmar, and actually in his last 3 matches he's averaged 11 points per game. He's on sale too, as we can see. So I actually think that I would prefer him over Emveen at the moment. I know Emveen has been a guy that we've also been talking about, and he's a great option too. But Kasi is a pretty cool alternative, and his ownership is at 0%, as we can see there. My mid-price pick is Mitchell Weiser. He's an all-time fantasy favorite. His offensive output makes him one of the most explosive defenders in the game. Always very involved for Werder and the attacking game, and he's quietly worked his way up to the 6th highest scoring defender in the game at this stage, which is quite impressive if you look at the other options. In the top, it's it's players from the top teams, and that are more like have been playing a mid-table sort of season. I think the game against Augsburg will be a close one, but Weiser often does well even if Werder don't win. For example, he got 18 points in a 2-1 loss to Hoffenheim some weeks ago and 12 points in a 2-1 defeat to Union Berlin. So that says something about his involvement. And I think he could be a nice difference maker in a week where when many of the top teams play each other. And then finally, my premium pick is Guerreiro. I'm always a bit concerned about choosing Guerreiro because he's let me down so many times this season. But then last time, when I didn't pick him up for the game against Köln at home, he had a really amazing game and scored 22 points. And he's tipped to play on the left wing against Eintracht Frankfurt, which of course makes him an intriguing option. And in a way, the Frankfurt game can be seen as a bit of a warm-up game for Bayern's Real Madrid clash in midweek. And if Tuchel wants to start him on the left wing there, which I think is quite conceivable now that he played there against Arsenal as well, I think it makes sense to let him play at the left wing position in this game as well, to give him some playing time. And yeah, obviously playing out of position in such an offensive role and with the qualities that Guerreiro possesses, that makes him a very, very intriguing option.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much for that, Rune. Yeah, some good picks there. Definitely the Mainz game looks like a presentable one for those wing backs under Boris Henriksen, who has done a fantastic job since coming into role. So we will just defer to any questions that may have come in. I'll just check X in a moment just to see if there are any other questions in regards to defenders. But I know Jay's put in a question in regards to Rafa Guerreiro. Is he potential for a star man this week, as he's obviously predicted star left wing? Obviously included by yourself, Rune. So yeah, potential to put a star on Rafa, or again, could be a differential to put a star on him because many people might feel that it's too risky.
Yeah, I think if you also pick a different star man, then this week could be a good one. But having said that, moving it away from Grimaldo is obviously a big risk, especially because Grimaldo has had such a high floor all season. So he usually just picks up double digits every time. So depends on your position in the game. If you want to take a chance, if you feel like you're in a position where you need a boost to jump up the rankings, it could also backfire, of course. It's a big risk, but sure, he's a good alternative. Although I think his floor is definitely lower than Grimaldo's.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Right. So I know Williams put in a comment just asking or saying if Jay needs to ask questions, then it's hard work for everyone, which is very true. Let's just have a quick look here for Jay. DBDs. Okay, we'll come to those in a little bit, Jay, because I think we can work through those with midfielders. So I'll pass over to Rune now to go through midfielders, and then we'll work through some more questions as and when they come in, which is fine. So yeah, don't be afraid, don't be shy. Wherever you're watching, especially if you're watching on YouTube, do put comments or questions in the comment section. If you're watching on X or Twitch, jump over to YouTube so you can have the opportunity to ask the question. No question is, too obvious or, too dumb or, or easy in a way. Me and Rune will work our way through any question that we are asked. So yeah, don't be shy with your questions. So Rune, I'll let you run through the midfielder picks now.
Yeah, starting off with another Mainz player, Brian Gruder. A bit of a boring pick, because I've mentioned him quite a few times recently, but I just feel like in this price category in midfield, there's no real alternative at the moment, especially given the favorable matchup that Mainz have this week. He scored 2 goals in the last 3 games, only got 6 points last time out. That was okay, but I think he got 2 double-digit returns in the 2 previous games. So just a really, really good option for a very low cost at the moment. And mid-price pick is Jan-Niklas Beste. With Heidenheim facing Darmstadt, I think it makes a lot of sense to consider him. In the reverse fixture, I think he set up 2 goals, if I remember correctly. Darmstadt had a lot of problems defending Heidenheim's corners and set pieces, and obviously Beste is a real set piece king. He's been directly involved in 19 goals in 27 games, so a really good differential than a week where when many of the top teams are facing each other. I also think Nadim Amiri from Mainz is a good alternative in that sort of price category, and Robin Hack from Gladbach is also a player you could consider if you want someone in the mid-price category. And then finally, my premium pick, Jamal Musiala. I know his ownership is super high, but I just wanted to mention him this week because he was rested last time out and should have plenty of energy for the game against Frankfurt now. And I think it's worth bringing him back in this week, and especially, as I said, with Leipzig and Dortmund facing each other, and Leverkusen and Stuttgart logging horns, I think Musiala could be a really important player to have in midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Musiala's return will no doubt be picked up by a lot of people, and that owner percentage of 55% will no doubt increase over the next few hours a great deal, I think. So yeah, thank you again for that, Rune. We'll just now jump to the comments and questions. So one in from Timothy. So let's bring this one up. Thank you for this, Timothy. Hope you're enjoying the show. Is Robin Hack worth considering this week? Obviously, off the back of his excellent hat trick against Hoffenheim last weekend. He certainly likes to score in big clusters, doesn't he, Rune? Obviously, He's got a couple of braces otherwise as well. What about good old Robin Hack? How's he doing?
Yeah, that's I think that's exactly it. Sometimes he has games where he just completely explodes and scores a brace or even a hat trick last week. But he's also had really quiet games, disappointing games, where he's been subbed off after 60, 70 minutes. So I think, he's the kind of player that could work out, but could also be a disappointment. Depends if you want to take that risk. It's a good matchup, and his ceiling is certainly way up there. But I think in terms of finding a player with a higher floor, I think Amiri would be an alternative. Probably won't have the same potential if you look at his ceiling, but I think in terms of his floor, I really expect him to get like 8-10 solid points just because of his involvement for Mainz as a deep line playmaker. So 2 different kind of strategies there. Do we want to go for the gold and take a chance with Hack, or do we want someone more sort of reliable in Amiri? That's the question.
Yeah, that is the question indeed. But yeah, it's a very good suggestion, Timothy. So if you're feeling brave, by all means, go for Robin this weekend. Just want to pick up one from Jay from X, aka Twitter, asking about Dani Olmo, keep or sell, and if sell, is Amiri or Hack the better pick? So very much similar themed question, but would we keep or sell Dani Olmo based on the fact that obviously they have a tricky fixture in hosting Borussia Dortmund this weekend?
Yeah, I think 2 Leipzig midfielders, probably one too many. It's not like I wouldn't be super surprised if Olmo actually did well, but I think it makes sense to spread the risk out a bit. And personally, I would prefer Amiri, but just because I think the game is so good from a Mainz perspective. It's really hard for me to imagine Mainz not getting a good result there, not winning that game. And I've been really impressed with Amiri on all set pieces for them, and most of their play just goes through him. So he's just so involved, and that's the kind of player you want fantasy-wise. With Hack, as I said earlier, probably has higher potential, but could also be the case that he doesn't turn up, gets a bit isolated on the wing, and isn't that involved. So I think Amiri is a more safe pick at least.
Yeah, no doubt. One last question before we move on to the strikers, and it's around thoughts on, again from Jay, thoughts on moving out Stuttgart players this week. Of course, their matchup against Leverkusen will be most difficult. And yeah, obviously last weekend there wouldn't have been too many points up for grabs from well, based on performances at least. Obviously, Undav got the consolation goal in the end for Stuttgart. But yeah, it might be wise to move some of these players out, Rune. There's no doubt that Stuttgart can compete and play a good game, but it will obviously be a tricky one, won't it?
Yeah, it will. And it's also important to remember that they actually have Bayern next week. So it's not just the Leverkusen game, it's also the Bayern game.
Yeah.
So that I think that's that makes me more inclined to sell the likes of Mittelstedt and Girassi. The main problem issue I have is to find the right replacement, because I think it's quite difficult actually to. There's a lot of good differentials, but yeah, who's the best one? That's a tough one, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we might have to cover that in a moment's time. But before we do, let's just run through the striker picks that Rune has selected for this match week. So again, I'll hand over to you to run through these.
Yeah, budget pick is Jonathan Burkhardt. He's been involved in an average of 1 goal per game in the last 7 matches, 5 goals and 2 assists, and he's really shown his potential under Henriksen so far. Has been that appointment has given him a big boost, and he's only priced at 5.9 million. But I actually think that given his current form and Mainz favorable matchup, he's at least as good an option this week as most of the mid-priced and premium options. So definitely one to consider there. My mid-price pick is Amadin Demirovic from Augsburg. He's just been so involved for them this season. Scored 15 goals and provided 9 assists in 29 appearances. Those are crazy numbers, especially considering he's playing for Augsburg. And I think the Werder game, as I said earlier when I talked about Weiser, is likely to be a close one. Could see it go either way, or could also end up in a draw. But I think both teams are likely to get on the score sheet. Werder haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 8 games. And Demirovic is pretty often involved when Augsburg get on the score sheet. So in terms of ceiling, I think he's one of the best strikers out there. But I think it's a bit concerning that his returns have been inconsistent in recent weeks. It's not quite been up to the level we saw from him like a month ago or something like that. And then finally, my premium pick is Andrej Kramaric from Hoffenheim. Scored 19 points against Gladbach last week, and he will head into the game against Bochum full of confidence. And Bochum, on the other hand, can't be too confident. Winless in the last 8 games, and a lot of problems, Bochum. And they're also conceding a lot of goals, while Hoffenheim are actually showing a lot of they're really dangerous in front of goal at the moment, and had a quite good game in that sense against Gladbach. And much like Demirovic, Kramaric is just as capable of assisting as he is of scoring goals, and that only adds to his appeal. I think Weghorst and Bayer, his 2 teammates, are actually good options as well. But I mean, his ownership is 0%, and he's coming off a 19-point haul. So a really, really good differential if he turns up and has a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose the benefit with Kramaric as well, Rune, is that it's the Friday night fixture. So obviously being able to see lineups as well, that will help with everyone's thinking. So yeah, we're looking forward to that game tonight. I think obviously huge connotations for Bochum trying to pull themselves away from trouble as well. But Hoffenheim will go with confidence to be able to score goals, is what we were saying. Right then, a couple of questions come in, so we will definitely turn our heads to these. Just want to pick out, one from FPL Gunnosaurus, which is in regards to Johnny Burkhardt, because obviously Lee is not available this weekend for Mines. So there's been a lot of predicted lineups saying that Burkhardt might then move out into a wider position and therefore maybe limit his ceiling. So that's a really good point raised, actually, Rune. So care to quickly comment on those thoughts, because they might be well justified?
Yeah, that is a good point. He'll probably play a more withdrawn role behind Unisivo, I think. So yeah, obviously be playing a bit further back, but I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. In the beginning, Henriksen also liked to play a Schork up front for him to head on balls to Burkhardt and lay balls off to him. So maybe he'll be able to make some nice runs in behind. But sure, it is a thing to consider. And also, Lee's absence is a bit of a blow for Mainz. He's been in great form too, and he's a different kind of player to Unisivo. He's also helped set up goals for Burkhardt. So definitely worth keeping in mind, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I just want to pick up another comment here from Elon Gold. So I hope you're enjoying the show, Elon. All top six are meeting against each other. Which striker to pick instead of Guirassy? So yeah, obviously lots of strong thoughts towards potentially taking out Guirassy this weekend. So yeah, we've mentioned Johnny Burkhardt, we've mentioned Demirovic, we've mentioned Kramaric. Any other notables that we want to throw out there at all, Rune?
Yeah, maybe Victor Boniface if you want someone from the opposing team. I think Leverkusen are probably more likely to win the game than Stuttgart, and looks like he'll start up front. Boniface, not completely nailed on though, but he's on sale as well. Pretty sure he'll start, but yeah, he's an alternative. I think. There's a Timothy is mentioning Kleindienst. Kleindienst is a bit of differential as well. But I think if you want someone with Guirassy's potential, Kramaric is probably the guy I'm leaning towards at the moment, also because of the matchup. I'm pretty sure Hoffenheim will get a few goals there, and Kramaric is in great form. So he's probably my favorite, but as I said earlier, it's actually quite difficult because a lot of interesting differential picks, and I think it's tough to pick the right one. It's a bit difficult.
Yeah, it does, and completely depends on your motives and your positions in your respective league tables, I guess, in terms of how much you want to chase. I mean, my position in our Bulinews league, it's been fairly consistent all season, but it's still pretty it's mid-table-ish. But we have such a high caliber to keep up with. I'm trying to stay consistent as I can, but I want to throw in a few differentials so that I can try and push up a little bit higher in these last four games. But of course, it has its risks. No doubt, Rune, you'll be gunning for more global aspirations as well. So hopefully these picks can help you all in your respective leagues and our league, because hopefully you are part of the Bulinews and Over the Bar league. So thank you for your questions, really good ones today, which have been really thought-provoking, so excellent stuff. I think as there's nothing else live coming in, just comment saying from Sad saying, I can't seem to cross the 200 rank in Bulinews and Over the Bar group. Yeah, it's a very hard line to cross, to be honest, pal. I'm struggling myself, so don't feel bad about that at all. It's an extremely difficult league to participate in, but it's great in that sense because it's so high quality, isn't it, Rune?
Yeah, I just want to mention I'm only 12th in our league actually, and my overall rank is 40. So says something about the competition. It's really tough.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, honestly, if you're doing around 200, it's really solid work, and because there's so much competition. So keep at it, and I'm sure you'll break it. Hopefully in these next 4 match weeks. Great stuff. So thank you to everyone who's watched and engaged with us. It's been another really good show this morning. So really looking forward to the Bundesliga action starting this evening, of course. So just what there is for us to say is, if you can do, leave a thumbs up on the show. Leave a comment subsequently if you're not watching this live and kicking. That's absolutely fine. We'll try and pick them up, especially before 7:30 UK time, in regards to player lineups. And of course, press the red button, subscribe, share with your friends, your family, everyone. Like I said, there's so much content coming out from us, particularly from the Bundesliga point of view. There's the FLW show coming out later this afternoon. We've got the blog, that's the vlog even, that's coming out later this evening. Also around 7 o'clock, we'll tweet about that. Absolutely. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And all there is left to say is enjoy the footy this weekend. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rune. And we'll see you in the next one.